The book title, What I Wish I Knew When I Was 20, by Seelig, one of the most creative and inspiring teachers at Stanford University. Chapter 1. Buy One Get Two Free. What would you do to earn money if all you had was $5 and 2 hours? This is the assignment I gave students in one of my classes at Stanford University. Each of 14 teams received an envelope with $5 of seed funding and was told they could spend as much time as they wanted planning. However, when they cracked open the envelope, they had 2 hours to generate as much money as possible. I gave them from Wednesday afternoon until Sunday evening to complete the assignment. Then, on Sunday evening, each team had to send me one slide describing what they had done, and on Monday afternoon each team had 3 minutes to present their project to the class. They were encouraged to be entrepreneurs by identifying opportunities, challenging assumptions, leveraging the limited resources they had, and by being creative. What would you do if you were given this challenge? When I ask this question to most groups, someone usually shouts out, "Go to Las Vegas or buy a lottery ticket." This gets a big laugh. These folks would take a significant risk in return for a small chance at earning a big reward. The next most common suggestion is to set up a car wash or lemonade stand, using the $5 to purchase the starting materials. This is a fine option for those interested in earning a few extra dollars or spending money in 2 hours. But most of my students eventually found a way to move far beyond the standard responses. They took seriously the challenge to question traditional assumptions, exposing a wealth of possibilities in order to create as much value as possible. How did they do this? Here's the clue. The teams that made the most money didn't use the $5 at all. They realized that focusing on the money actually framed the problem way too tightly. They understood that $5 is essentially nothing and decided to reinterpret the problem more broadly. What can we do to make money if we start at absolutely nothing? They ramp up their observation skills, tap into their talents, and unlock their creativity to identify problems in their midst. Problems they experience or notice others experiencing, problems they might have seen before but had never thought to solve. These problems were nagging but not necessarily at the forefront of anyone's mind. By unearthing these problems and then working to solve them, the winning team brought in over $600, and the average return on the $5 investment was 4,000%. If you take into account that many of the teams didn't use the funds at all, then their financial returns were infinite. So, what did they do? All of the teams were remarkably inventive. One group identified a problem common in a lot of college towns: the frustratingly long line at popular restaurants on Sunday night. The team decided to have those people didn't want to wait in line. They paired off and booked reservations at several restaurants. As the times for their reservations approached, they sold each reservation for up to $20 to customers who were happy to avoid a long wait. As the evening wore off, they made several interesting observations. First, they realized that the female students were better at selling the reservations than the male students, probably because customers were more comfortable being approached by the young women. They adjusted their plan, so the male students ran around town making reservations at different restaurants, while the female students showed the places in line. They also learned that the entire operation worked best at restaurants that use vibrating pagers to alert customers when their table is ready. Physically swapping pagers made customers feel as though they were receiving something tangible for their money. They were more comfortable handing over their money and pager in exchange for the new pager. This had an additional bonus. Teams could then sell the newly acquired pager as the latter reservation time grew nearer. Another team took an even simpler approach. They set up a stand in front of the student union where they offered to measure bicycle tire pressure for free. If the tire needed filling, they added air for $1. At first, they thought they were taking advantage of their fellow students, who could easily go to a nearby gas station to have their tire filled. But after their first few customers, the students realized that the bicyclists were incredibly grateful. Even though the cyclists could get their tire filled for free nearby, the task was easy for the students to perform. They soon realized that they were providing a convenient and valuable service. In fact, halfway through the 2-hour period, the team stopped asking for a specific payment and requested donation instead. Their income soared. They made much more when their customers were reciprocating for a free service than when asked to pay a fixed price. For this team, as well as for the team making restaurant reservations, experimenting along the way paid off. The iterative process, where small changes are made in response to customer feedback, allow them to optimize their strategy on the fly. Each of these projects brought in a few $100, and their fellow classmates were duly impressed. However, the team that generated the greatest profit looked at the resources at their disposal through completely different lenses, and made $650. The students determined that the most valuable asset they had was neither the $5 nor the 2 hours. Instead, their insight was that their most precious resource was their 3-minute presentation time on Monday. They decided to sell it to a company that wanted to recruit the students in the class. The team created a 3-minute commercial for that company and sold it to the students during the time they would have presented what they had done the prior week. This was brilliant. They recognized that they had a fabulously valuable asset that others didn't even notice, just waiting to be mined. Each of the other 11 teams found clever ways to earn money, including running a photo booth at the annual Venice Ball, selling maps at highlighted local restaurants during parent weekend, and designing and selling a custom T-shirt to the students in the class. One team actually lost money when the students purchased umbrellas to sell in San Francisco on a rainy day, only to have the weather clear up shortly after they launched their effort. And yes, one team ran a car wash and another started a lemonade stand, but their returns were much lower than average. I count the $5 challenge as a success in teaching students about having an entrepreneurial mindset. But it left me feeling a bit uncomfortable. I didn't want to communicate that value is always measured in terms of financial rewards. So I added a twist the next time I assigned a project. Instead of $5, I gave each team an envelope containing 10 paper clips. Teams were told they had 4 hours over the next few days to generate as much value as possible using the paperclip, where value could be measured in any way they wanted. The inspiration for this was the story of Carl Madonna, who started with one red paperclip and threaded it up until he had a house. He set up a blog to document his progress and to solicit trades. It took a year, but step by step he reached his goal. He traded the red paperclip for fish-shaped pen. He then traded the pen for a doorknob, and the doorknob for a Coleman stove, and so on. The value of the item increased slowly but surely over the year until he had his dream house. Considering what Kel did with one paperclip, I felt quite generous giving the student 10 paperclips. The assignment began on Thursday morning and presentation was scheduled for the following Tuesday. By the time Saturday rolled around, however, I was exhausted. Perhaps I would gone too far for this time. I worried the assignment would be a burst, and was ready to chalk it up to experience. These concerns couldn't have been further from the mark. The seven student team each chose to measure value in different ways. One decided that paperclips were the new currency and went about collecting as many as possible. Another team learned that the current world record for the longest paperclip chain was over 22 miles and set out to break that record. They relied their friends and roommates, pitched local store and business on their plan, and showed up in class with a mountain of paperclips linked together. Apparently, the students in their dorm were so moved by the challenge that they committed themselves to breaking the world record even after the assignment was over. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I'm pretty sure they didn't break the record, but it's a good measure of the energy the team was able to generate. The most entertaining and provocative team came to class with a short video with the song Bad Boys blaring in the background. They showed them using paperclips to pick up and break into dorms' rooms to steal tens of thousands of dollars worth of sunglasses, cell phones, and computers. Just before I fainted, they announced that they were joking and showed another video documenting what they really had done. They traded the paperclips for some poster board and set up a stand at nearby shopping center with a sign that read, "Stand for students for sale. Buy one, get two free." They were amazed by the offers they received. They started out carrying heavy bags for shoppers, moved on to taking out the recycling from a clothing store, and eventually did an ad hoc brainstorming session for a woman who needed help solving a business problem. She paid them with 3 computer monitors she didn't need. Over the years, I continued to give groups similar assignments, changing the starting material from paperclips to post-it notes or rubber bands or water bottles. Each time the students surprised me and themselves by what they accomplished with limited time and resources. For example, using one small package of post-it notes, students created a collaborative music project, a campaign to educate people about heart disease, and a public service commercial called "Unplug It" about saving energy. This exercise ultimately evolved into what has become known as the Innovation Tournament, with hundreds of teams from all over the world participating. In each case, participants used the competition as a means to look at the world around them with a fresh eyes, identifying opportunities in their own backyard. They challenged traditional assumptions and in doing so generate enormous value from practically nothing. The entire adventure with Post-it note was captured on film and became the foundation for a professional documentary called Imagine It. The exercises described above highlight several counterintuitive points. First, opportunity are abundant. At any place and time, you can look around and identify problems that need solving. Some are mundane, such as scoring a table at a popular restaurant or pumping a bike tire. Many as we know, are much larger, relating to major world issues. As Vinod Khosla, a co-founder of Sun Microsystems and a successful venture capitalist, says so clearly, the bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. Nobody will pay you to solve a non-problem. Second, regardless of the size of the problem, there are usually creative ways to use the resources already at your disposal to solve them. This is actually the definition many of my colleagues use for entrepreneurship. An entrepreneur is someone who is always on the lookout for problems that can be turned into opportunities, find creative ways to leverage limited resources to reach their goals. Most people approach problems as though they can't be solved and therefore don't see creative solutions sitting right in front of them. Third, we so often frame problems too tightly. When given a small challenge, such as earning money in 2 hours, most people quickly jump to standard responses. They don't step back and look at the problem more broadly. Taking off the blinders opens up a world of possibilities. Students who participated in the projects took this lesson to heart. Many reflected afterward that they would never have an excuse for being broke, since there is always a nearby problem begging to be solved. This assignment grew out of a course I teach on entrepreneurship and innovation at Stanford University. The overarching goal is to demonstrate that all problems can be viewed as opportunities for creative solutions. I focus first on individual creativity, then move on to a creativity in teams, and finally dive into creativity and innovation in large organizations. I give my students a small challenge and slowly make them more difficult. As the course progresses, the students grow increasingly comfortable seeing problems through the lens of possibility and are eventually willing to take on just about anything they get their way. I have been at Stanford for 10 years as the executive director of the Stanford Technology Venture Program (STVP), which is located in the School of Engineering. Our mission is to teach scientists and engineers about entrepreneurship and to provide them with a tool they need to be entrepreneurs in whatever role they play. We believe, along with a growing number of universities around the world, that it isn't good enough for students to come out of school with a purely technical education. To be successful, they need to understand how to be entrepreneurial leaders in all working environments and in all parts of their life. STVP focuses on teaching scholarly research and outreach to students, faculty, and entrepreneurs around the world. We strive to create shape people, those with a depth of knowledge in at least one discipline and a breadth of knowledge about innovation and entrepreneurship that allow them to work effectively with professionals in other disciplines to bring their ideas to life. No matter what their role, having an entrepreneurial mindset is a key to solving problems, from small challenges that face each of us every day to looming world crises that require the attention and effort of the entire planet. In fact, entrepreneurship cultivates a range of important life skills, from leadership and team building to negotiation, innovation, and decision making. I'm also on the faculty of the Household Planner Institute of Design at Stanford, affectionately called the D School. This cross-disciplinary program draws upon educators from across the entire university, including the School of Engineering, Medicine, Business, and Education. The institute was envisioned and launched by Stanford mechanical engineering professor David Kelley, who is also founder of the design firm IDEO, known for creating widely inventive products and experiences. All these school courses are taught by at least two professors from different disciplines, and cover an endless array of topics, from design for extreme affordability to creating efficacious action to design for anti-aging. As part of the D-School teaching team, I have experienced the thrill of radical collaboration, extreme brainstorming, and rapid prototyping as we gave students and ourselves big, messy problems with more than one right answer. This book draws upon the stories that come out of the classroom at Stanford as well as from my prior experiences as a scientist, entrepreneur, management consultant, educator, and author. Other stories come from those who have taken a wide range of paths, including entrepreneurs, inventors, artists, and academics. I'm fortunate to be surrounded by those who have done remarkable things by challenging assumptions and are eager to share their tales of success and failure. Many of the ideas presented here are the polar opposite of lessons we are taught in a traditional education system. In fact, the rules that apply in school are often completely different from those in the outside world. This disparity causes incredible stress when we leave school and attempt to find our way. Gracefully bridging that gap to tackle real-world challenges can be extremely difficult, but it's doable with the right tools and mindset. In school, students are usually evaluated as individuals and graded on a curve. In short, when they win someone else loses. Not only is this stressful, but it isn't how most organizations work. Outside of school, people usually work on a team with a shared goal, and when they win, so does everyone else. In fact, in the business world, there are usually small teams embedded inside larger teams, and at every level, the goal is to make everyone successful. The typical classroom has a teacher who views his or her job as pouring information into students' brains. The door to the room is closed, and the chairs are bolted to the floor, facing the teacher. Students take carefully notes, knowing they will be tested on the material later. For homework, they are asked to read assigned material from a textbook and quietly absorb it on their own. This couldn't be any more different from life after college, where you are your own teacher, charged with figuring out what you need to know, where to find the information, and how to absorb it. In fact, real life is the ultimate open book exam. The doors are thrown wide open, allowing you to draw on an endless resources around you as you tackle open-ended problems related to work, family, friends, and the world at large. Carlo Vindolo, a masterful professor at University of Chile, told me that he provocatively suggests that students take classes from the worst teachers in their school because this will prepare them for life, where they won't have talented educators leading the way. Additionally, in life classes, students are typically given multiple-choice tests with one right answer for every question, and the bubbles must be carefully filled in with number 2 pencils, who made for easy grading. In sharp contrast, in most situations outside of school, there are multitudes of answers to every question, many of which are correct in some way. And even more important, it is acceptable to fail. In fact, failure is an important part of life's learning process. Just as evaluation is a series of trial and error experiments, life is full of fails, start and inevitable stumbling. The key to success is the ability to extract the lessons out of each of these experiences and to move on with that new knowledge. For most people, the world is quite different than a typical classroom. There isn't one right answer that leads to a clear reward, and facing the wall of choices in front of each of us can be quite overwhelming. Although family, friends, and neighbors will happily give us pointed advice about what to do, it is essentially our responsibility to pick our own direction. But it is helpful to know that we don't have to be right the first time. Life presents everyone with many opportunities to experiment and recombine our skill and passion in new and surprising ways. The concept presented in this book turns many well-worn ideas on their heads. My hope is to challenge you to see yourself and the world in a fresh light. The ideas are straightforward, but not necessarily intuitive. As an educator focusing on innovation and entrepreneurship, I have seen firsthand that these ideas are relevant to those working in dynamic environments where situations change rapidly, requiring those involved to know how to identify opportunity, balance priority, and learn from failure. Additionally, the concept are valuable anyone who wants to squeeze the most juice out of life. In the coming chapters, I will tell stories that come from a wide variety of success or sources, from recent college graduates to seasoned professionals. Hopefully, some of their experiences will resonate with you, providing insight and inspiration as you consider the choices you face throughout your life. Essentially, the goal of this book is to provide a new lens through which to view the obstacles you encounter every day while charting your course into the future. It is designed to give you permission to question conventional wisdom and to revisit the rules around you. There will always be uncertainty at each turn, but armed with the confidence that comes from seeing how others have coped with similar ambiguities, the stress will morph into excitement and the challenge you face will become opportunity.